Vigil, Ante, and the Vigilante Antics by BelleAmant. Read by Oakshadow 5. Chapter 27, The Second Day, Part 3. 4 battles and a bunch of new ideas later, Izuku heads back to the locker room to change, names and abilities swirling around in his head. It's easy enough to switch from his hero outfit to his school uniform, although Hitoshi has to do his tie once again, and then the boys head back to the classroom. By the time the boys reach 1A, a few others have already made it. The invisible girl, Hagakure, Izuku thinks, and the girl with the earphone jacks sit in their spots, facing each other so that they can talk. The earphone girl looks up when Izuku and Hitoshi enter the room, and she gives them a brief nod in greeting that Izuku returns. Hagakure goes for a bolder approach. "Hi," Hagakure says, and if her rapidly failing sleeve is any indicator, she's waving at them. "You two were really cool in your fight." "Thank you," Izuku says, for what is probably the 50th time this day. "You as well." "But I was frozen in place right away," she points out, and the collar on her shirt scrunches up. Oh, she's sitting ahead. "What if we got her a headband?" Izuku wonders idly. "Then we'd have a pretty good idea of where her head is. Wait, if she dyed her hair, would we see it? That could help her be seen better, although that would ruin her chance of being stealthy." Snapping himself out of his thoughts, and thanking whatever higher being there is that he didn't start mumbling, Izuku says, "Well, maybe so, but your plan was a really good one. Taking off the visible parts of your costume in order to start sneaking up on the heroes, that's ingenious. Well, it didn't work out in this instance. It's because your opponent knew he had to find you. If you were working on a stealth mission, no one would realize you were there until it was too late." Hagakure's sleeves shift, and Izuku thinks that she's pressing her hands to her mouth as a muffled "thank you" reaches his ears. Izuku nods, then walks past her and sits in a seat, Hitoshi sitting behind him. The earphone girl is still watching them, and she gives Izuku another nod and a subtle thumbs up before returning to her conversation. Izuku smiles to himself, feeling proud. The feeling lingers as his classmates slowly fill the room, back in their normal uniforms. And then, Hitoshi taps on his desk in a repetitive motion, thumbing out words that only they understand. "Don't forget." More tapping. "Map." Izuku nods ever so slightly, barely dipping his head down, and then taps back. "I know." Glancing back, Izuku sees the blank expression on Hitoshi's face. He sends the purple-haired boy a forced smile, and Hitoshi returns the sentiment. Izuku turns back around just as Aizawa enters the room, and the last class of the day, and is it really a class if Aizawa has admitted that it'll usually be a study hall hour, begins. The final hour flies by, and then everyone is free to go. Well, mostly everyone. Izuku and Hitoshi will be stuck at the school for a while before the guardians are ready to go. The two off in the teacher's lounge to fill out papers, and they have a job to do as well. Of course, they're immediately delayed. "Midoriya-kun, Shinzo-kun, are you two heading to the station, and would you like to walk there together?" Tenya asks, by their desks in an instant, just like earlier, and Izuku smiles politely. "Sorry, Ida-kun, but Toshi and I don't head to the station," Izuku explains, and Tenya nods. "Of course, I shall see you tomorrow then." With a sharp, chopping wave, Tenya turns and heads out of the class, walking briskly as if he's already late. Izuku smiles more genuinely as he watches the boy leave. He's got a good heart on him, Izuku thinks to himself, and he hopes that that never changes. Distractions gone, and not wanting to stick around for more, Izuku stands up and grabs his bag, then gestures for Hitoshi to follow. They walk out of the room without interruption. And then, as Izuku moves to shut the door behind him, a certain blonde latches onto his arm. "Deku!" Bakugo starts, and Izuku sighs. In the classroom, he can hear his peers silencing themselves, and can see a few of them trying to see what's happening. Great. "What do you want, Bakugo?" Izuku asks, and the explosive teen flinches slightly at his own name. "Where the fuck have you been?" Bakugo asks. "That's none of your concern," Izuku says, because really, it isn't. But Bakugo glares at him. "Like hell it isn't! Do you know how fucking much you—" "Bakugo," Hitoshi cuts in calmly. "Leave him alone." "Stay out of this, you shitty excuse of her!" Izuku feels a spark of amusement when Bakugo's eyes go blank. "Let him go," Hitoshi says, voice soft and unheard by anyone who isn't Izuku or the explosive teen, and Bakugo releases Izuku's shoulder. "Wait until we're out of sight and punch yourself in the face. Do not let anyone else touch you." Then, Hitoshi takes Izuku by the hand and pulls him down the hallway, away from the pier stairs. "Thanks, Toshi," Izuku says as they round the corner. "I know you don't like dealing with him," Hitoshi says calmly, "And he deserves it for trying to kill you during class." In the distance, Izuku can hear the angry yelling of Bakugo, and he lets himself laugh even as he memorizes the school's layout and marks down pathways on a once blank sheet of paper. Hitoshi laughs beside him, and Izuku pushes down his guilt. He pushes it down even more when he hands the map over to his boss hours later, where nothing is up but the stars in the sky, but some still springs up. But it's okay. It'll all be okay. Izuku tells himself this, but the guilt still chokes him to sleep when he and Hitoshi finally slip back into the house, their absence completely unnoticed by the Guardians. He can only hope that they don't do much with the map, but Izuku knows that hope isn't always reliable. Damn, that was a quick chapter. But oh my gosh, the last part. So they're still working with AFO, and they're being like your age traitors, but not really. Oh my gosh, no. But also, this is the 25th month anniversary of me making podfics. Yes, it's been 2 years and a month already. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed chapter 27 of Vigil, Ante and the Vigilante Antics, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!